Hey everybody, how y'all doing? Um, I'm making this video because turn this light on real quick, y'all. Because I listened to the interview that K Michelle did at V103 in Atlanta. I believe it's in Atlanta. And she's very much entitled to her opinion. She's entitled to her feelings. She's entitled to what she believes. And this video is in no way, shape, or form um, an attempt to demean her or to say that she's wrong for how she feels or anything like that. That's not my place. Um, but I have to say that she's wrong simply because she's speaking out of brokenness. She's speaking out of hurt. She's speaking out of anger. And you can't take that brokenness and that hurt and that anger and generalize it and say that it applies to everyone because it doesn't. Because right now, what you're saying is you don't trust and believe that God will bring you out of your situation. You don't trust and believe that God will ever send you a man that is worthy of you. You're saying that you just don't trust and believe in God at all right now. And that you don't believe in his works. You don't believe that he would ever put you in a situation where someone will show you that love. But here's the thing. I think that K Michelle is in a point in her life where God had to sit her down. Because she's looking for everyone else to love her. Except the one person that should be loving her. Which is her. The type of love you want in a man starts with you. Or the type of love you want in a woman starts with you. If you want a man or a woman who possesses X, Y, and Z, you have to be a man or a woman who possesses X, Y, and Z. Because it is unfair for her or any of us to ask someone of the opposite sex to possess all these traits and we can't even reach those goals ourselves. It's unfair. It's unfair for her to say that she built this wall, and if a man is unwilling to climb that wall, then he's not worthy of her. That's unfair. Because what you're doing, essentially, is telling a good man that no matter what you do, you'll never be good enough. Because you're making him pay for the sins of a man who came before him, and he wasn't there when it happened. So you don't have the right to make him pay, or you don't have the right to make a woman pay for the sins of someone who came before her. And I think that K. Michelle never took the time to heal in between relationships. She never took the time to heal mentally, spiritually. And if you don't take that necessary time to do that and to have that self-reflection, because you have to sit down at some point and say, what is it about me that continues to attract this from other people? What is it that I need to change about me so that I am able to, one, forgive, two, to love myself first, and three, to be able to identify what a good man or a good woman looks like. Now, she said that she felt Christ and Obama were what she considered to be perfect. Okay. Then if that's what you consider to be perfect, then that's what you should strive for as a woman. You should strive to be that type of woman so that you can attract that kind of man. Now, I know my opinion ain't popular, and there's going to be some folks that disagree, and that's okay. Um, but You cannot operate in brokenness and think that it's the responsibility of a man or a woman to fix your brokenness. That's not how that works. It is not their responsibility to fix your brokenness. That is your responsibility. And before you get into a relationship with someone else, you need to do your due diligence, and fix what's broken on the inside. Because you cannot be in a healthy, committed relationship with someone when you're broken. Because all you have to offer, all you have to put on the table is brokenness. And it's unfair for the other man or the other woman to consistently give you 110% and you're only giving 50% because you're afraid to give 110% back to the other person. Because what you're doing is creating that same brokenness that's in you, you're creating it in the other person. And now you've put them in that rat race with you, and that's unfair. That's like the analogy like Steve Harvey gave one time about him telling, I think he said his grandmother, that he was going to buy this new car. And she was saying, well, baby, what you going to do with your old car? And he would say, oh, I'm going to fix it up. I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that, you know. Oh, I'm going to fix this car up and I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. But the car still sat there and it was still broken. And then, you know, his grandma said, well, baby, when you going to move this car? Oh, well, Grandma, I'm going to fix it up. I'm going to fix it up. I'm going to do this to it and I'm going to do that to it. The car still sat there and it was broken. So I guess one day Steve got tired of looking at this car, right? And he finally got rid of it. And when he got rid of it, he got something new, right? And it works the exact same way in relationships. You cannot take in something new if you do not clean the closet and get rid of the old. You have to clean out everything that has happened in a past relationship before you can move on to a new one and before you can appreciate the new. If you are continuing to hold on to the old and living in the past and hanging on and clinging on to your brokenness, how can you clearly see your future when all you ever see is what hurt you before? If all you ever see and all you ever have in your mind is fear, God didn't give us a spirit of fear. And you cannot live in that fear because that fear holds you captive. And that's what's going on with her. Her fear of being hurt again and being broken by another man is holding her captive. And these shackles have become so heavy for her, she don't know how to break them. But it starts with forgiveness. In order to break these shackles, baby, it starts with forgiveness. You have to forgive the people that hurt you. If you want to move forward in life, you have to. You cannot continue to operate in a spirit of brokenness. Because brokenness will keep you broke. If you want to heal and have true healing, it starts with forgiveness each and every single time. It starts with forgiveness. She's got to forgive the people that have hurt her. And then she's got to forgive herself for the things that she's done wrong. Because she's not innocent in everything. Every relationship takes two people. She's not completely innocent of anything. She has to atone for the mistakes that she's made as well. But after she's done that, after she's reflected, now it's time to say, I love me, and I'm going to work on me, and I'm going to fix the things about me that attracted those type of men in my life. You know what I'm saying? She has to work on those things. She has to love herself first. Because if you can't love you, That man will never love you because you can't tell him how to love you. That girl will never love you because you can't tell her how to love you. If you don't know how to love yourself, can't nobody else love you. It's impossible. Because what they do for you will never be good enough. What they do for you will never be enough. What they do for you will never add up. One plus one will never make two. It won't. It won't. And that's and my brother used to tell me this all the time about what you put out in the world is what you get back. And if you're putting out into the world negative energy, the world doesn't know to give you anything back other than what you're putting out. And if she's saying that all men, she believes that all men are bad, guess what type of man she will always attract? The type of man that she feels is bad. She will never see the good. And I find this, and I've heard this in so many black women, because I really haven't had this conversation with any other woman of any other race, but I've heard this in so many black women. I sat down and talked with a woman that I used to work with, and she said, "Oh, all men cheat." No, baby, just the men you know cheat because that's the type of man you attract. So all men don't cheat. All men are not cheaters. Are men perfect? No. If you have a list, you may find a man with 80% of what's on that list. And that's as close to perfect as you may ever get. And you have to be okay with that. Because nobody will ever live up to the list that you made 100%. Nobody will. Because nobody's perfect. Everybody makes mistakes, and you have to understand that and realize that. But you can't operate in brokenness and think that someone who has risen above their brokenness is supposed to fix what's wrong in your life. It doesn't work that way. You have got to fix what's broken in you before you can even begin to be in a healthy relationship with someone else. Because what you will always get is that same train ride, and the wheels will always fall off. So it's up to each and every one of us to decide, what type of woman do I want to be? Do I want to be a good woman, or do I want to be a great woman? What type of man do I want to be? Do I want to be a good man or a great man? And if your answer is